I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Got the chainsaw cleaned up, but I need to do some more work on it. Need to check for spark. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. Well, I want to check for spark. To do that, I need to reassemble this thing a little bit. But as I'm doing that, I'm finding a few odd things. There's a hole for a screw here. And that housing fits right over that. But then, when it hooks up over there, there's no hole for a screw. Never was. And there's a hole here, but it doesn't really match up. Now this is the thing that gets a lot of torque on it. I mean, the starter cord pulls on it. They had this bolt in there. Which I suppose helps hold it in place. But not exactly what I would call a good method. Then put these screws here in this pan. They're easier to find, then they don't get knocked off the bench. One goes in here. And there's supposed to be another one there. But I'm not finding it. Let's see. Is there a hole for a screw underneath that? Or is this a Franken saw? Somebody took a lowercase. There's a spot there, but it looks like it's got a broken off screw in it. Let's see what's in that hole. Yep, that's a broken off screw. Okay, so that's two things to fix. One, I don't know what this bolt does. It does thread into that hole, but I think that is more a case of somebody forced to thread in there, because it doesn't match up here. I mean, that's not going to hold anything. It's too long. So I need to repair that broken screw there and repair this fastener. Either make one or find one, or I think it's going to be make, because I don't think there's any matchup with anything. Get a bolt in there, a bolt in there, and figure out what's going on here, because there's no place to hook any bolt in. All I've got is a bit of housing. It looks like I might be able to put a screw in there. But all this stuff matches up. I mean, the magneto lines up and the lower crankcase lines up. So I don't know if this is an oddity, which is a good possibility, or if the brake is an oddity. It could be off an older model. Might be close enough transfer that things will actually work. But for today, since all I'm going to be doing is cranking over the engine just to see if it'll spark, I'm going to put a couple of screws in here and then put the rewind on it so that I can test the spark, see if I got spark. This was sold just as for parts, so it could be, you know, I could find some other odd things going on here. Would not surprise me in the least. I bought this Milwaukee Torx screwdriver so that I could fix it. Jackknife. And I have used it for a number of things. Okay. Well, that's gonna spin that okay. Now I'm gonna pull the plug. At least I hope I am. Nope. I'm going to need a plug wrench. Let's see. Wonder if these longer deep well sockets will work. There we go. Looks to be a fairly new plug. Hasn't been run. And this is a Champion J19LM. So let's stick it in there and see if we get some spark. Switch is on the on position. Oh yeah, that's a big plus. If I got ignition, life gets infinitely better. Okay. I'll go ahead and pull this back off again. My odds of getting this running just went up immeasurably. And there we go. wrap that up in some paper towels. This is going to grip for a while. And no point in having it get all over everything. Now we'll pour the oil out of the bar oiler. At least that is the plan. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert this motor and I'm going to let that thing sit and drip. I can just pour into that pan, and then I will take it out in the garage and flush it out with some kerosene, because that is absolutely the wrong kind of bar oil. Well, now I got an engine with spark. I got a couple of problems with some bolts, and I can see that's going to be a little bit of work to make that happen. I'm going to have to do some thinking on the one, and then the other one I'm going to have to take off some more parts to get where I can get into and take out that broken off screw. Then I got to find another screw. What's the chance of it being Imperial? Don't know. This is from the 80s, so it's kind of a 6 1, half dozen the other. But I will go down to the saw shop. I got to get some more gas line. Thanks for the tip, Louie. I will be getting some of the blue gas line because this stuff is brittle. I'll just take the tank down with me and say I need a replacement for this size line, and I need it in blue. And it needs to seal up that gap between the hose and the tank. It's got a couple of felt washers that were slid over the hose. Now, I don't know if those are supposed to catch the drips and let them evaporate. Does not sound like a clever way to do things. I would think that you'd want to have something that actually seals up. But then, what do I know? Anyways, I'll be going down to the saw shop and talk to them, get a new fuel hose, see if I can get some more screws, and we'll go from there. But for right now, I'm going to let that black icky bar oil drip out. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching. .4206 to 4213, 4206 to 4213. Okay, we're good.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the US or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.